So it's the last Welsh political barometer before this 2019 general election, which means that Professor Roger Awan-Scully and I have to reprise our weatherman act. Roger, well, tell us the headline figures. People are desperate to hear these.
Well, I think what the poll shows is the Labour Party's vote is holding up very strongly in Wales. But since our last poll in Wales, we see a significant rise in Conservative Party support. They're up 5 percentage points in support. And so, things are still clearly very close between those two parties, but they're squeezing out all of the other parties. We see Plaid Cymru down a bit, but the Liberal Democrats and the Brexit Party down rather more.
So when you say these are down or up, are you referring to our last poll or 2017?
So from our last poll at the end of last month. And I mean, look at these figures in some historical perspective. 37% for the Conservatives would be their highest vote share in Wales since 1900. Conservatives have never scored this high in terms of vote share in Wales throughout the era of universal male suffrage. So this would be an astonishing performance by the Conservatives and would put them on course to make significant seat gains in Wales.
Talking of seat gains, what would this mean if it were translated into seats?
On a standard
usual caveats.
On a standard projection, making no account for local factors, this has 8 Labour seats going straight to the Conservatives. 8 of them. So the Labour Party would be down from 28 seats at the last general election to 20. The Conservatives would be up from 8 at the last general election to 16. We're also assuming from this poll that the Conservatives would regain Brecon and Radnor, which they lost in the by-election in August. According to these figures, the Liberal Democrats might just recapture Ceredigion from Plaid Cymru, who would therefore be down to 3 seats. But most of the action seems to be in terms of Labour and Conservatives. And for the Conservatives, it's moving forward to a position they haven't been as strong as this for a very long time in Wales.
I was going to say 16 seats. No, I think 1987 was the last high point for the Conservatives.
1983. So Margaret Thatcher's landslide in 1983 was the last time that the Conservatives got significantly into teens in terms of the number of seats. That was 14 then. We're projecting them at 16 Conservative seats. So this would be, by some considerable distance, their best performance in general election in Wales since World War II.
And how likely is this to become reality?
We must have caveats. This is done a few days before general election campaign. But also, I think a key caveat is that a number of those seats which are projected to change hands, to go from Labour to the Conservatives, are projected to do so by tiny margins and with just a minuscule swing back to the Labour Party, which could easily be accounted for by survey margins of error. A lot of those seats actually stay Labour rather than going from Labour to Conservative. So what I think this shows is that the Conservatives are clearly pressing Labour very hard, but there's still a lot to play for, a lot to fight for.
Let's talk about leaders and who's likely, or what people think about different leaders. And we asked, or the poll asked, who'd be the best Prime Minister. I think we can see, these are the two. One of these will be Prime Minister. 33% for Jeremy Corbyn, 40% for Boris Johnson. Talk me through what it means for those two.
Well, this is very unusual to see by the end of a general election campaign in Wales, this place that the Labour Party have won for the last 26 general elections in a row. We have an English Conservative leader as the top choice for best Prime Minister, ahead of the Labour Party leader. And Jeremy Corbyn did narrow the gap with Boris Johnson in the first part of this general election campaign. But the improvement in Jeremy Corbyn's rating seems to have flattened out.
How does that compare to the improvement in 2017?
So in
that's what they keep telling us. They keep saying in 2017 it was bad at the beginning and then it changed.
In 2017 two things happened. First of all, the Conservative Party leader, who started off the election campaign pretty popular, got successively less and less popular, while the Labour Party leader, Jeremy Corbyn, improved his rating significantly right through the campaign. What's happened this time round is that Boris Johnson's poll ratings have stayed effectively stagnant rather than going down as Theresa May's did last time. And Jeremy Corbyn improved for the first half of the election campaign and now effectively nothing. He's just staying in the same position and on this best Prime Minister choice clearly behind Boris Johnson. Elsewhere in the poll we've asked about a whole range of party leaders. What we see actually for both Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn is both of them are actually pretty unpopular with much of the public. And generally, in fact, we're seeing for most party leaders, including, for instance, Plaid Cymru's Adam Price, who's performed quite well in some televised debates, actually becoming less popular as the campaign has gone on, perhaps suggesting that many of the public really are pretty fed up with this and maybe many of them simply want the election to be over. They've had enough of hearing from the politicians.
I wonder what that means in terms of the kind of issues that people are interested in. And we've got some nice images to show us exactly what people are thinking of. No surprise, Brexit right at the top still. Health has crept up as is second place at 44%. This is a bit of a surprise. This is illustrating the environment. It's come out, I feel like, top of the pops now. New entrant at number 3, 24% for the environment and the economy in 4th place. Surprised?
Not particularly surprised. I think we've seen a lot of high-profile campaigning on the environment. It certainly has become a more salient issue on the agenda for many people since 2017. I mean, this question we asked people, we gave them a long list, asked them to indicate the 3 most important issues. Brexit is still coming out top, but it's actually scoring rather lower than it did at this time in the 2017 general election campaign.
Oh, why would that be then?
Well, I think, again, maybe lots of people are actually a bit fed up of this issue and they just want it to all be over, which may indicate why the slogan about getting Brexit done is effective and why the Conservatives may well be on course then for a very good election performance.
That leads me on to my next question, which is who would these benefit? Traditionally, the view is NHS benefits Labour. Well, I suppose Brexit is seen in this one as a Conservative. Who do these things benefit?
Well, I think the prominence of health is generally seen as a good thing for the Labour Party, even though they run the much criticised devolved health service in Wales. I think that the prominence of the economy is most of the time seen as a fairly good thing for the Conservative Party. On Brexit, I think the story there is that the Conservatives have had the better election in terms of they've been able to squeeze the Brexit Party, more or less monopolise the pro-leave market in the electorate. The Labour Party have had a more difficult time of trying to win support, particularly amongst pro-Remain voters. And I think the fact that Brexit is still seen as the most important in this issue is part of the story for why the Conservatives overall across Britain seem to be winning.
Final question. You're used to this one now. Can we trust the polls? Can we trust any? Because they've got a mixed record over the recent past.
They do in general, but I think to be fair to ourselves, our own Welsh Political Barometer poll, us working with YouGov, has an exceptional record in terms of the last general election, the last Assembly election. That. So, fingers crossed it will continue to perform so well. If our poll is accurate, it does suggest we're going to see quite a historic election here in Wales. We're going to see the Conservative Party making advances in Wales of a sort that we haven't seen for many, many decades and contributing significantly to an overall general election victory for Boris Johnson and the Conservative Party.
Lovely. Thank you very much. If the poll is, we'll find out pretty soon. Thursday night, Friday morning, we'll find out. If it's spot on, credit us. If it's wrong, blame Roger. That's the simple. That's how we share the responsibility. Yeah. Roger, thank you very much. And we'll find out soon enough. The election is on Thursday. I'll be taking part in the ITV's Through the Night coverage, and then from Friday onwards, we'll be discussing it and finding out what actually happened. So until then, Roger, thank you very much.